Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture series. I am Kavitha from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Kamaraj College of Engineering and Technology, Virudhunagar. Today we are going to see the topic context-free grammar in compiler design. Before we go into this topic, let me have you a simple question. When you write a program or when you write a statement in your program, that is A plus B star C. So, which operation should happen first? So, it is decided by the compiler. So, here are the various stages of compiler. Our input is the source code, that is the program that we are writing, and then after it is given to the lexical analyzer. So, where the source program is scanned and then tokens are generated. And after this, the tokens are given as input to the syntax analyzer. Here, it will check the syntax of the programming language, and later a parse tree will be generated and passed as input to the semantic analysis phase. And after checking the semantics, the intermediate code is generated, and further process will be carried out up to code generation. So today we are going to see about context-free grammar, which describes the syntax of the programming language. So what is a context-free grammar? It is a mathematical system for defining the syntax of programming languages. So it is used for defining the syntax of programming language. So how it should appear like this. And next, it consists of 4 tuples, that is, it is represented by non-terminal, terminal, and then start symbol as well as production rules. So in a lexical analysis phase, we are using regular expressions to describe identifiers as well as keywords, literals, like this we can represent. For that we are using regular expressions, and in the next phase, that is syntax analysis, we are using context-free grammar. So for handling the nested structures as well as if then else, and then important thing is handling unbalanced parentheses. So these things are handled using context-free grammar. So it is more powerful than regular expressions. So these are the important components of a context-free grammar. It is represented by the letter G, and then it has 4 components, that is V, T, P, S. So V stands for non-terminals. So it is a set of variables. It is represented by uppercase letters, and T stands for terminals. So terminals is used for representing the symbols. So the symbols can be digits as well as plus, minus, and then other symbols, ID. So these things are represented in lowercase letters. And the next thing is production rule. So production rule, it defines the syntax or for the particular structure, program structure, and as well as it is used to mention how the combination of terminals as well as non-terminals are used to produce a string. And for that we are mentioning production rules. And the last one is start symbol. So it is a non-terminal symbol. Each derivation should start with a start symbol. So the first one is non-terminals. So non-terminals are the variables that are represented by the symbol V, and then it consists of uppercase letters, and the non-terminals should appear on the left side of your production rule. So in a production rule we will have that S implies A, so which represents S is a non-terminal and A is a terminal. Terminals are represented by lowercase letters. And for example, non-terminals are expressions, term, factor, and then statements. These things are expressed as expression for E, and then T for term, and then F for factor, as well as S for statement. And non-terminals are used to used in substitution purposes. They are used in substitution purposes. And then terminals are used to derive a string. So it appears on the right hand side of our production rules, and it includes symbols as well as digits. For example, plus, and then multiplication operator, ID, that is identifier, and then parenthesis. These things are considered as terminals. And the next one is production rules. So production rules syntax is A implies alpha. A stands for non-terminal, so it should be on the left hand side, and then we call it as head of the rule, and then the right hand side is called the body of the rule. So A belongs to, that is A is the non-terminal which belongs to the non-terminal V. V stands for variable, and then alpha, in that case the body can be a combination of terminals as well as non-terminals. So the right hand side can be a combination of terminals as well as non-terminals. So they belongs to terminals as well as non-terminals, and then 0 or more occurrences. And then this arrow implies, we can state this as derives as well as produces, and then it can be replaced by. So we can mention it as derives, produces, and then it can be replaced by. Consider this example. So these are all the examples of production rule. So first one is E implies E plus T, and then E implies T. We can rewrite this production rule as in this alternative notation, that is E implies E plus T, and then the symbol, that is R, and then T. We can represent this two production rules in a single one. And then these are all the properties of production rule. So it enables the recursive structure definitions, and then on the left hand side we can have the same non-terminals, that is multiple rules can have the same left hand side, and then rules can reference themselves, that is recursion. So here E refer this E, so that is recursion. And next, it provides a foundation for generating all valid strings in the language. So using this production rules, we can generate the valid strings for that particular grammar. And then the next thing is start symbol. So start symbol should be a non-terminal symbol. It is the start of the derivation. So the derivation starts from this symbol only. That is, all derivations begin from the start symbol. So why it is important, that is why context-free grammar is important in compiler design. So in syntax analysis, we will verify the syntax of the programming language. So it provides systematic syntax verification, and then it also handles a recursive structure, and it produces a parse tree, and then it can be able to handle as well as detect and report the errors. These are all the practical applications of context-free grammar. It is used to create parser generators like Yak as well as Bison, and then it is useful in highlighting IDE syntax, and then language design tools, semantic analysis foundation. So the next thing is derivations. So derivations are used to generate a valid output string. So how we are replacing the non-terminals? Derivation means it is a application of sequence of production rules that are used to transform the start symbol into the string of terminals. So it is mentioned like this: A implies B. So it is a single step, and then if we get B from A after multiple steps, so we mention it as star, that is 0 or more steps. When we obtain B in 1 or more steps, it can be represented as plus. This is for mentioning 1 or more steps. So the derivations are used to understand which non-terminal can be replaced in order to obtain the valid string. There are two types of derivations, leftmost derivation and then rightmost derivation. So leftmost derivation, we have to find the leftmost non-terminal to expand. It is used in recursive descendant parsers and it is a top-down parsing approach. Consider this example. We have a E implies E plus E. So here we have to choose the leftmost non-terminal, that is E, and it is replaced with ID. And later in next step, E is replaced with ID and then it produces the final string ID plus ID. Like this we have to perform for rightmost derivation. So in our rightmost derivation, we have to expand the rightmost non-terminal first, and it is used in shift reduce parsers. It is a bottom-up approach, that is parsing approach. Here the rightmost non-terminal E is replaced first, it is replaced with ID, and then this E is replaced later. So we will get this ID plus ID. In both derivations we will get the same output string, but the parse tree will be different and it leads to ambiguous grammars. So here is another example for leftmost and rightmost derivations. This is our grammar, context free grammar. S implies A as B or C, and then A implies epsilon or small a capital A, and B implies epsilon as well as small b capital B. So in leftmost derivation we have to replace the leftmost variable with the rule bodies. So it is mentioned as LM, that is leftmost derivation. Initially we have to start with the start symbol. So here we have taken S as the start symbol. This is our first production rule. So S implies first thing is A is B. So we have written like this. And next one is in leftmost derivation we have to replace the leftmost terminal. Here leftmost non-terminal is A. So A is replaced with small a as well as capital A. So it is replaced with small a and then capital A. And again A is replaced with epsilon. So we will get A as B. So now S is the leftmost non-terminal. So S is now replaced with this terminal C. So A, C, B we will get, and now B is the leftmost variable. So B is replaced with small b and then capital B. So and B is now replaced with epsilon. So we have to apply this production rule consecutively to get the valid output string. And similarly we can perform the rightmost derivation. Here we have to replace the rightmost variable with the rule bodies. So here the rightmost variable is B. So B is now replaced with small b capital B, and again B is replaced with the epsilon. So we have this rule body, that is B implies epsilon. So this is replaced here, and later we will get A as B. Now S is replaced with C, and then again we have A. So A is replaced with small a capital A, and now A is replaced for epsilon, and we will get ACB. So here the rightmost variable is replaced in every sequence. So and finally we will get this ACB. In both the methods the final output is the same. In leftmost variable derivation we will get ACB, and in rightmost derivation also we will get ACB. But when we convert this derivation sequence into parse trees, we will get different parse trees. Today we have seen about what is a context free grammar, what is the purpose of using this context free grammar in compiler design, and how to derive the output string from the given grammar. Thank you.